Welcome to another video of Level Up the Lees.
I'm Levi.
And I'm John.
And together we're Level Up the Lees. Today we're doing a community video of answering questions from all of you.
Well said. Exactly. Because before we know it, now we've on YouTube for half a year, 6 months. And thanks to everyone's support. There are lots of people who ask us questions, including our friends and people we know, and then also those of you on YouTube. So we thought we'll answer them all together in this special community video today.
Let's do this!
So how we're going to do this is I'm going to read out the questions. Levi will answer them first. If he doesn't want to answer them, then it's my turn. Alright, so first question. How was it when it started?
It was so-so. Because at first I was a little bit nervous.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was super self-conscious, looking at myself, thinking the videos were bad, thinking I didn't speak clear enough, and thinking no one's going to watch our stuff. Yeah, that's how we started. How old is Levi?
5.
Okay, next one. How do you get Levi to like board games and not smartphone?
Well, I sometimes just like to play with other screen stuff, but toy screen stuff, that's like those.
Yeah, so okay, my turn to answer that. Got Levi to play board games because it is interesting, it is fun. The idea is to play to have fun, not play to win, although sometimes they're the same. Yeah, these are great, yeah. This game is great, right?
Even though I still love smartphones.
That's right, and that's the other thing. He still likes smartphones. We just decided to spend more quality time with board games because it brings us together. Yep. All right, next question. What game to lose your friends?
Some of those games would be Mythic Battle and Imperial Troll because they have a getting started book.
Ah, you mean to introduce your friends? Well, what games lose your friends? I would say a Game of Thrones. A Game of Thrones is a board game that you play as one of the kingdoms. It's just very long. In order to learn the rules, it's like 2-3 hours, and there's a lot of betrayal in it. So yeah, it's good for some people, but you know, to me, it's one of those games. If you want to bring your friend into a board game session and then lose him or her afterwards, Game of Thrones is the one to go. All right, next one. First board game you really got into? That's a good question.
Pass, Papa.
Okay, good question. First board game I really got into? Zombicide. Because I wanted to get a game that had a lot of miniatures, and I want to play with Levi, and I decided to fill the whole board with zombies that were painted.
Yeah.
And to make it fun, in fact, Zombie is still one of Levi's favorite games.
Zombicide!
Yes, and specifically Zombicide Black Plague. Wow, what are 3 board games you are looking forward to play with Levi when he's 1 year old, 3 year old, and 5 years older than now?
One board game would be A Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, yeah, good one. For me, it would also be A Song of Ice and Fire because I think that game would be so much fun to play with Levi. I think maybe when he's a little bit taller and bigger, because there's lots of rules to read in that game and there's so many miniatures. I want Levi to have a good time when he plays and not worry that if he touches it, he's going to break something. So I think a little bit older would be good. So that's that one. And then another one would be when he's a little bit older, I would love him to try Warhammer. Because I haven't tried neither. So I want to try with him. Okay, next question. What is my favorite board game to play with Levi? Well, you go first. What's your favorite board game to play with me?
The most funnest game would have been Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Because it has a scanner with all those fun components.
Yeah, those Nemesis and fantastic. I'm trying to decide between Nemesis and Mythic Battle. To me, I love Mythic Battles, especially after they've painted. But I think sometimes a little bit hard for Levi. But Nemesis is a good time every time. So, okay, Nemesis for me as well. At what age did Levi start playing advanced board games? That's a good question.
Yeah.
What's an advanced board game? Well, let's say, I think this is it. Actually, all of these are advanced board games. You know what's not an advanced board game? Uno, Monopoly. They're not advanced. These are advanced.
Card games.
Yeah. We started playing advanced board game. The first one advanced was Temple of Elemental Evil. And at the time Levi was 4. Just before his birthday. So, 4. What do you think of digital board games? Is it same fun for kids? Well, I'll let you answer that one. Digital board games like games you can play on the iPad.
For me, I still love to play. For me, I still love to play games you can play on the iPad, computer and stuff.
Yeah.
I still love those.
Great question. I think digital board games are great fun for kids because they've got a lot of sound, a lot of moving parts. And of course, kids just love gadgets. I mean, my kid does. So yes, I would say super fun for the kids. Yep. Just have to balance it. Otherwise, it's all gadgets and iPads. We don't want that. Okay, next one. Where do you get equipment for paint and stuff? Well, I have to answer this one because Levi doesn't buy them.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do I get equipment? Well, some of them's from the supermarket, like brushes and paper and that kind of stuff, and other from online stores in Australia. Yep. Next question.
Kickstarter.
Yes. What makes a bad board game?
Some bad board games would be some boring, long ones and some tiring ones.
Yeah, I agree. We don't have boring and bad board games, so...
Some boring games would be Tainted Grail because there's 2 to 3 hours, 15 chapters.
Okay, yep. Okay, for me, what makes a bad board game is if A, you can't understand the rules, which means if I read the rule book and I still can't understand it, or B, I watch YouTube video on how to play and I still can't understand it, or C, it just takes so long to set up and pack away and to read the rules. Like, oh, I just moved. What happens? Oh, hold on, we have to read the rules for 15 minutes. Okay, that's bad for me. Yeah. Otherwise, there's no such thing as a bad board game. There's a different game.
Which would have been Tainted Grail, which would have been a bad one because it's tiring and boring.
Okay, thank you. Good answer. I love Tainted Grail, by the way. Most underrated board games that is still fun in 2021. So underrated, it's like no one knows about. It's great, but no one knows about it.
It's still some still fun will be Nemesis. Because what the people don't know about is the map you would explore. So you will randomly place them as the maps.
For me, that game would be Mythic Battles. We have right in the front of us. I just painted a whole bunch of them. That's why they're here. Mythic Battle, the most underrated. Why? Because who doesn't love Greek mythology? Well, actually, don't answer that. But yeah, I love Greek mythology. Miniature is amazing. The game is easy to play. Even he can play it, and he just beat me today. But yeah, not many people know about it because it's not in proper distributions yet. You can't buy this in retail, so you have to buy it from someone else or Kickstarter. So I think that's why no one knows about it. So this would be my most underrated board game 2021.
Oh, right.
In fact, they are doing Kickstarter right now for Ragnarok. So yeah.
Next
one. The board game that is creepy or mysterious.
Well, for me, it would still be Nemesis because the creepy components in Nemesis are the aliens. Those are the bad news.
Yes, they are. For me, that's
mysterious is the maps, like we said last time.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're gonna get. For me too. The first mysterious, creepy game that comes to mind is Nemesis. Okay, next one. How do you get started playing board games?
Some games feature a getting started book or learn to play book. So they refer some rules, so you should read that book first.
Good one. Alright, my take, if I take a step back, not how you start a particular game, but actually start playing board games would be, pick a board game with a theme that you like. So if you like aliens, sci-fi, Nemesis. Creepy stuff, Nemesis. Greek mythology,
Mythic Battle
Battle.
Pantheon!
You like Trojans, Troy, that kind of stuff? Mythic Battle, right? Pick one with components that you like, and then yeah, just play it. Good quality components will go a long way. So these are pretty, and that will improve the experience. And start simple. Don't change the game. Pick one that you like. Start on the simpler set of rules. Have a good time, and then add more rules later. And then over time, Levi actually wants to play particular games.
Yes.
Like he would come to me, Papa, let's play Zombicide. Let's play Nemesis. Let's play.
Let's play Mythic Battle!
Yeah. So that happens. Okay. Why? Okay, this one's a good one. Why board games isn't just for kids?
Because some board games are hard. Like some board games that would have been boring. Boring games are, like I said, Tainted Grail. That isn't just for kids because it's super long and challenging for the kids.
Yeah. What about Mythic Battle?
Mythic Battle would be pretty good for complex game kids, but would not be good for babies or toddlers.
That's right. I think all of our games are not good for babies and toddlers because there are lots of components, like these little things. You don't want them to eat it, right? You don't want people to eat it and fail. That wouldn't be good, would it? What was the question? Why isn't board game just for kids? Well, because as a form of entertainment, it will entertain some people. Now, some more than others. I think board games are great because it encourages thinking, strategic thinking, decision making, communication, negotiation, and just interacting with stuff that you can feel with your hand.
Yes! Like interacting these minutes of something coming up here.
Yes, and Zeus going
Ow!
and throw a lightning bolt. Okay,
And throw a lightning bolt at
can't see
Paris.
that, but yeah. So Zeus just went over to throw a lightning bolt at Paris. Yeah.
Paris is a Trojan's
He
attack of
is.
Mythic Battle.
Paris is Trojan. Okay, next one. Games that you can play that won't take your whole day.
Some games that would take you a whole day is Mythic
It
Battles.
doesn't take a whole day. This only takes an hour.
And now it's not a whole day.
That's right.
Which is Mythic Battle, Nemesis. Sometimes, some games would be Imperial Assault,
Mm-hmm.
Mythic Battles, Zombicide. It's not Chronicles of Drungal because it has a campaign, series of linked chapters, which would take you a whole day because there's 18 of them.
That's right. But you can just play one chapter a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really good idea.
No, all our games doesn't take the whole day. I think the longest one's probably Tainted Grail, but once again, you can pause in between. We don't play games that take a whole day because playing board games is a form of entertainment. It's not a prison, so we don't do that kind of stuff. All right. Ooh, this is a good question. Best board game to teach your kids about life. Is there any board game that teaches you about life?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I don't know that one neither. I think a lot of board games teaches kids a little bit about life. So an example is
Middle Earth. That's an example.
Yeah, we haven't played that one yet. So why does it teach about life? Well, resource management. Resource management is you got so many points, what to do with them. Yep, they have to learn that. Winning and losing. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
You have to get used.
Yeah, you got to get used to losing. Randomness. Sometimes life just doesn't work out. You want to draw Zeus, but you don't. Zeus is not here. You get Apollo instead. You know.
Well,
that's not a good
but
example.
if you wanted to draw Apollo, but you got Aries.
Yeah. So I mean,
some randomness would be a nemesis. The randomness is setting up placing maps.
Yes. And here's one. Because some board games, or most of the board games we have, encourage storytelling. And he loves it. Levi loves storytelling. He loves stories. So that's not a great way to teach kids about life. Yeah. You can go, whoa, you can make stories about armies fighting. What are they fighting for? And the challenges they have, and then the wins they have, and the losses, etc. Okay.
Let's skip that one because we've already done those.
Yeah, okay, we'll skip that one. Okay, here's an interesting one. Board games that spark imagination.
Some board games of those would be chapters because when you make your own maps, you can make stories for them. And like Chronicles of Ravnica, they still display the story in their chosen real-life Chronicles of Ravnica scenarios of a series of campaigns.
That's right, and that's a good story. Yeah.
Just chapters.
Okay, let's end up with one last one, and then let's call it in for a day. Why do some board games look so complicated? Most board games are not complicated. They only look complicated either A, someone has never played a board game before, and then they see a board game with 60 pages of a rulebook. Okay, that's daunting. But most of the time it's not, because a lot of games, like this one, you have a get started guide or a quick reference guide.
Yes.
It tells you what you need to do and most of the keywords in there. So 80% of the game is already playable from just reading a quick rule reference guide.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. And
this.
Yeah, so 2 sides, yeah. And that's pretty standard for most of the box games. Now, some games are more complicated than that. So for example, I'm thinking about like Warhammer 40k, where there are books and books and books just to get started, but that's extreme, okay? That's for enthusiasts only. This type of box games, you can get through 80% of the game with just a reference guide and having someone to explain you the basic concept. So it's not complicated. They just look complicated because it's daunting. But take this.
Like 60 pages of the rule, like you said.
Yeah, now, why?
But if we had 60, but if it had 5 books.
Yeah, it could be very scary, yeah.
And pretty daunting.
Pretty daunting, yeah. So let's wrap up here. Why is it that way? Is because unlike in other medias, like a computer game can help you not do the wrong thing by just not allowing you to do things by software. Okay, in a board game, when you're moving and doing actions, how do you know what's the right thing to do? There are lots of edge cases. I mean, that's what make up life, right? A lot of edge cases. There has to be some material in the game that tells you how to handle the edge cases, and that's why there are so many books and material, because they have to handle the edge cases for you. In my experience, good games, well designed, well written rulebook, most of the things are handled by the core rules, not necessarily needing any wedge cases and FAQs and all of that stuff.
Expansions.
Yeah, expansions sometimes introduce new rules, but it should still be pretty straightforward. Of course, like anything else, you got to experience it to really learn it, but it's still easy. So yeah, once again, why some games seem so complicated is because there are rulebooks and material that needs to help the player understand how to handle all the edge cases. Last question, what would you recommend for people out there who want to get their family and friends or kids to start playing board games? What do you recommend?
Some fun games and mysterious and creepy games would be Zombicide, because it's pretty basic and has recommended maps.
Okay. Maybe I'll ask a better question. For other kids around your age, Levi, what would you recommend to get? Would you recommend to get them started?
Around my age, I would recommend on some complex games you should try out Temple of Elemental Evil.
Oh, okay. And why is that?
Because there's fun content and maps.
Great, yeah. I would recommend something easy to get into, which means hard to make a mistake, with the likes of King of Tokyo, Zombicide, because it's super easy.
I did Zombicide.
You did, yes. And something like Dice Throne. You get interactive stuff. It's easy, it's forgiving, you can still have a good time without worrying about the rules. Yeah, so I would go with that.
We might play Dice Phone today.
Maybe.
So if you like this video, like and subscribe and press the thumbs up button.
Thank you.
Or if you don't like it, press the thumbs down button.
Yes.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up.
Hopefully just thumbs up. Yes, I hope this video was interesting to you, and if not, well, check out our next video, which is playing Mythic Battle Pantheon together and Ankh together. Yeah, we spent a bit of time on that. Hope you enjoyed it. Once again, this channel is dedicated to all of you guys who love board game as a hobby, and for people like us who's in the family, wants to have more family time and find stuff that we both enjoy together. Hopefully we can inspire some other parents out there to get their family into the game. Why did the Argonauts crash?
One time, some flying, hard, tough people was flying. And was so tangled up. They went.
Uh-oh. Let's save them! Let's save them! Get the helicopter! Magic helicopter. Love it.